Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya. Namo Ramana. This is Madhi Ratnasamy representing Tampa Satsang group. First, Mrs. Rosa Maldonado is offering 108 Names of Shri Bhagavan by Professor K. Swaminathan. Second offering is a Ramana Namam song by me. Third, Mrs. Anu Shastri concluding our offering with a reading from Gems of Sri Ramana. Thank you. Namo Ramana.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is Rosa from Tampa. Today we are offering a reading from the book The 108 Names of Sri Bhagavan, which is an English translation and commentary by Professor K. Swaminathan. We will be reading the name of Bhagavan and then the commentary. I meditate in the heart on Ramana, the boundless ocean of being, awareness, bliss, of which the universe is but a wave, the steadfast one, established firmly in the heart's cave depth, free from distracting thought. One sprung from the resplendence of Mahasena, Skanda. Skanda, commander of the divine forces, destroys the vasanas, the asuric desires and memories that turn the mind away from the self within. Sri Ramana, the name conferred on the young ascetic by Ganapati Muni, and now universally accepted, reminds us that Bhagavan rejoices in the self of pure awareness, and that his message is Ramaniya, the experience of bliss or beauty, inherent in good but not in evil, in the true but not in the false, in love but not in hatred, in peace but not in conflict. The inner comprehends and transcends the outer. Hence, introversion, or turning towards the self within, restores wholeness to the psyche and finds joy in work in the world as well as in pure contemplation. Om Gurave Namaha. The Sadguru is like the sun, self-luminous, and like the self, the inner light, wholly identified with awareness bliss. He is at once universal in the validity of his teaching and uniquely efficacious in drawing the disciple towards the self. The embodiment of whole, unbroken awareness. He perceived no separation between his being and the universal being, between his life and the life eternal. He is not a knower knowing the world. He is the world aware of itself as I. The great light. He is the light of awareness which operates as grace and draws all living beings to itself. Why divide his being into teacher, pupil, and teaching, or knower, knowledge, and that which is known? He is whole, unbroken awareness, the sole reality. The Father is in the Mother, and both are in the Son, who is in the world at the center of awareness to transform it. In this Mahuya, in this great living brightness, Father and Mother are both present in their entirety, and the Son rejoices in manifold function. Heaven and earth have merged into one single entity. One whose birth was for a purpose. The child was born not as a result of past karma, but for the divine purpose of renewing human life and transforming the world. His birth can be explained only ideologically. It is wrong to conceive of time as the past flowing into the present and causing the future. The timeless flows perennially into time as awareness for transforming the world and creating a future more human and therefore more divine than the past. One whose advent is for the well-being of the world. The Karana, the purpose for which he was born, is the welfare and salvation of the world. Bhagavan has this stanza about avatars. When Dharma wanes and evil reigns, you appear to vanquish evil. Restore Dharma and give strength to the virtues and renew earth's life. Who are we, after all, to know in that elusive form you come to save the world? The play with mythology and metaphysics now becomes localized. The human child divine is born in a hollow spot and gains illumination in another, both appropriate and well prepared by centuries of tradition to re-establish the rule of Dharma and ensure the world's welfare. An avatar helps Moksha Siddhi, the attainment of liberation by persons, and Jagat Hitam, the well-being of the world. Bhagavan fulfills both these purposes, who are indeed mutually complementary. He who sprang into being in the holy spot of Bhuminatha or Tirumeninatha. The name of Shiva in Tiruchuri is the navel of the universe. Crown jewel of the Parasara Kula. Parasara was the Maharshi who worshipped the Supreme as Agni, and Bhagavan saw in Arunachala the frozen column of fire, the symbol of the Supreme. The place and the family of his birth were both significant. Fruit of Sundara Ayer's tapas. Sundara, Alago, and Ramana are three words all meaning beauty or sweetness. A worthy father and a worthy mother were needed even for a Karano Baba, and they must have accumulated much merit to have such a child. Charming person of excellent behavior. As a child, comely to behold, bright-eyed, sweet of speech and ever smiling, Bhagavan was a great favorite of the whole neighborhood. One who enjoyed the help of Mother Divine, the helper of all. Sahayamba is the name of the goddess of Tiruchuri. Once as a child, Bhagavan left his house in a huff and ran off to the temple opposite and sat behind the mother's idol. In a moment, he was not only calm but felt a thrill of joy profound. One whose mind was merged in the effulgence of Arunachala. From childhood, Bhagavan was haunted by the name, light and glory of Arunachala. The one with a golden hand. Dexterous indeed, victorious in games, lucky in every task he undertook. Bhagavan turned whatever he touched into the gold of awareness and bliss. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. This is Madhi Ratnasamy. I'm going to be singing ஓதுவார்க்கெல்லாம் ஓய்வு தருவது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமத்தின் பெருமை. ஓதுவார்க்கெல்லாம் ஓய்வு தருவது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. ஓய்வு கொண்டவர் ஓதி மகிழ்வது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு பரரமணா. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு பரரமணா. ஒட்டுமிணைகளை ஓட அடிப்பது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. ஓர்ந்து ஓண்டிட ஒன்றி போவது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு பரரமணா. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு பரரமணா. உள்ளமென்பதில் உள்ள பொருளிது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. கள்ளமொன்றிலா கழுவி விடுவது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. போகும் வழிக்கெல்லாம் பொருந்தும் துணையிது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. போக்கும் வரவெல்லாம் போக அடிப்பது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு வரரமணா. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு வரரமணா. நாய்க்கும் காக்கைக்கும் நன்றி செய்தது மானும் பசுவிற்கும் முக்தி அளித்தது. நாயும் கேடன கிடக்கும் நமக்குமோ நன்மை செய்வது உண்மையானது. உலகம் யாவையும் இங்கு இழுத்தது உருவமின்றி உணர்த்தி வைப்பது. கட்டு இன்றியே கட்டி வைப்பது ரமண நாமமே. ரமண நாமமே. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு வரரமணா. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு வரரமணா. நாடி வந்திட நம்ப வைப்பது நம்பினார்க்கெல்லாம் நன்மையாவது. உனது இதயத்தை நாமமாகிடு ரமண நாமத்தை ஓத வேண்டும் நீ. கனவு கனவு உலகமே போகவே ரமண நாமமே ஓங்கி ஓது நீ. கனவு உலகமே கரைந்து போகவே ரமண நாமமே ஓங்கி ஓது நீ. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு வரரமணா. குரு பரரமணா அருணகிரி பரரமணா ஹர ஹர ரமணா ஜய குரு வரரமணா. நமோ ரமணா.
The gems from Bhagavan, Chapter 1, Happiness. All beings desire happiness always, happiness without a tinge of sorrow. At the same time, everybody loves himself best. The cause for love is only happiness, so that happiness must lie within oneself. Further, that happiness is daily experienced by everyone in sleep, when there is no mind. To attain that natural happiness, one must know oneself. For that, self-enquiry, who am I, is the chief means. Happiness is the nature of the self. They are not different. The only happiness there is of the self. That is the truth. There is no happiness in worldly objects. Because of our ignorance, we imagine we derive happiness from them. If, as a man generally imagins, his happiness is due to external causes, it is reasonable to conclude that his happiness must increase with the increase of possessions and diminish in proportions to their diminutions. Therefore, if he is devoid of possessions, and his happiness will still be nil. What, however, is the real experience of man? Does it confirm this view? In deep sleep, the man is devoid of all possessions, including his own body. Instead of being unhappy, he is quite happy. Everyone, therefore, desires to sleep soundly. The conclusion, therefore, is that happiness is inherent in man and is not due to external causes. One must realize his self in order to open the store of unalloyed happiness. There is a story in Panchadashi which illustrates that our pains and pleasures are not due to facts but due to our concepts. 2 young men of village went on a pilgrimage to North India. One of them died there, but the other, having picked up some job, decided to return to his village only after some time. Meanwhile, he came across a wandering pilgrimage and sent word through him to his village about himself and his dead friend. The pilgrim conveyed the news and in doing so inadvertently changed the names of the living and the dead man. The result was that the dead man's people were rejoicing that he was doing well, and the living man's people were in the grief that he was dead. I used to sit on the floor and lie on the ground, no cloth spread out. That is freedom. The sofa is a bondage. It is a jail for me. I am not allowed to sit where and how I please. Is that not bondage? One must be free to do so as one pleases and should not be served by others. No want is the greatest bliss. It can be realized only by experience. Even an emperor is no match for a man with no wants. Chapter 10, Renunciation. When asked, how does a grihastha, a householder, fare in the scheme of moksha, liberation? Bhagavan said, why do you think of grihastha? If you want to go out as a sannyasi, ascetic, a similar thought that you are a sannyasi will haunt you. Whether you continue in the household or renounce it and go to the forest, your mind goes with you. The ego is the source of all thought. It creates the body and the world and makes you think you are a grihastha. If you renounce the world, it will only substitute the thought, sannyasi or grihastha, and the environments of the forest for those of the household, but the mental obstacles will still be there. They even increase in the new surroundings. There is no help in the change of environment. The obstacle is the mind. It must be got over, whether at home or in the forest. If you can do it in the forest, why not at home? Therefore, why change your environment? Your efforts can be made even now, in whatever environment you are now. The environment will never change according to your desire. If objects have independent existence, that is, if they exist anywhere apart from you, then it may be possible for you to go away from them. But they do not exist apart from you. They owe their existence to you, your thoughts. So where can you go to escape them? Where can you go, fleeing from the world or objects? They are like a shadow of a man, which the man cannot flee from. There is a funny story of a man who wanted to bury his shadow. He dug a deep pit, and seeing his shadow at the bottom, was glad he could bury it so deep. He went on filling the pit, and when he had completely filled it up, he was surprised and disappointed to find the shadow on the top. Even so, the objects or thoughts of them will always be with you until you realize the self. Why should your occupation or duties in life interfere with your spiritual effort? For instance, there is a difference between your activities at home and in the office. In your office activities, you are detached, and so long as you do your duties, you do not care what happiness or whether the result is in gain or loss to the employer. But your duties at home are performed with attachment, and you are all the time anxious as to whether they will bring advantage or disadvantage to you and your family. It is possible to perform all activities of life with detachment and regard only the self as real. It is wrong to suppose that if one is fixed in the self, one's duties in life will not be performed properly. It is like an actor. He dresses, acts, and even feels the part he is playing, but he knows that he is really not that character but someone else in real life. In the same way, why should the body consciousness or the feeling, I am the body, disturb you once you know for certain that you are not the body but the self? Nothing that the body does should shake you from ambience in the self. Such abundance will never interfere with the proper and effective discharge of whatever duties the body has, any more than the actor's being aware of his real status in life interferes with his acting a part on the stage. Renunciation is always in the mind, not in going to the forest or solitary places or giving up one's duties. The main thing is to see that the mind does not turn outward but inward. It does not really rest with the man whether he goes to that place or that, or whether he gives up his duties or not. All that happens according to destiny. All the activities that the body is to go through are determined when it first comes into existence. It does not rest with you to accept or reject them. The only freedom you have is to turn your mind inward and renounce the activities there. Nobody can say why that freedom alone and no other freedom is left to the man. That is the divine scheme. Thank you.